November is over. We're through 10 months of this crazy 2020 year, and it's time for a new housing market update. As I've reported in recent reports, the housing market is behaving more like we'd expect in the summer as opposed to normal October and November conditions. I've created some graphs that I will share with you now. They accurately depict current housing market conditions and make it possible to forecast what we will see next in the Tallahassee real estate market. Sit back, relax, kick up your feet, and grab a cool drink. We'll spend the next few minutes or so ensuring that you're fully prepared for today's housing market. Hi, I'm Joe Manausa, author of The Business of Getting Business and the creator of Manausa.com, where I've helped tens of thousands of people buy and sell homes. I would like to help you too. If you already are a subscriber, thank you and welcome back. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one now. We offer the most thorough and accurate housing market reports on YouTube, plus answers to your real estate frequently asked questions, and we also provide virtual tours of some of the most beautiful homes in Tallahassee. Simply hit subscribe to get started, and the bell so that you're the most informed buyer or seller in your next real estate transaction. Our November 2020 housing market report begins with a look at the big picture first and then narrows down to specific conditions that will be very important to you if you plan to sell or buy a home. Our first graph shows how well the market fared in October. Each month's home sales are compared with the corresponding month from the year prior. For this reason, it's called the year-over-year home sales graph. Year-over-year home sales rose a whopping 18% in October. Now, if you saw our year-over-year housing report we published last week, you might wonder how this changed so dramatically. Real estate agents are not always timely in their reporting, so it usually takes a few weeks and sometimes months for them to report home sales through the MLS. Because of this, we're always seeing adjustments in past data. Now, with 18% growth already in the books for October, you might wonder what's going on right now in early November. I can tell you from the street level that for every one buyer that closed on a home in October, there was more than one that missed out on a home and was left hoping to find a home to close on in November. Demand remains strong. There are not enough homes for sale to satisfy buyers today. We need more sellers to enter the market, whether this comes from existing homes or the new homes market. We need more inventory. The next graph shows the number of homes sold during the first 10 months of each year. It allows us to compare the real estate market at the end of October with 18 previous years, each through October as well. Home sales are down about 0.5% in 2020 when compared to 2019 through October, a difference of only 23 homes. That's right, just 23 homes separate this pandemic year with the strong year we enjoyed in 2019. When we compare 2020 to the past 18 years, this year trails just 5 other years. This graph shows the supply of homes relative to the current rate of demand, so we call it the relative supply of homes. We measure relative supply in months of supply, meaning the number of months it would take to consume the current supply of homes for sale. Here, the green line shows the number of homes sold each month. That's the demand, while the red line shows the number of homes for sale each month. That's the supply. When we divide the demand into the supply, the result gives us the relative supply of homes, shown in blue. Finally, we take the one-year average of the relative supply to remove seasonality, and we can see this plotted in yellow. When the market is balanced, we refer to it as market equilibrium. Most real estate experts consider equilibrium, or a balanced market, as one with 6 months of supply of homes for sale. Look at how glutted the market was from 2006 through 2014, where the relative supply of homes peaked at nearly 14 months of supply. We spent very little time at equilibrium, and now for the past 6 years, the overall market has favored home sellers. The relative supply fell in October, bringing the Tallahassee real estate market to its strongest seller's market imbalance ever recorded. This lack of supply is opposite of market conditions back in 2006, when the housing market collapsed due to oversupply and a decline in demand. A decline in demand today would only help restore balance and potentially slow the rapid rate of appreciation the market is seeing right now. In other words, conditions are nothing like what we saw that created the housing bubble in 2006. We do not have a glut of homes for sale. The opposite is true. We need more homes. Help me get the word out to Tallahassee homeowners who want to move. Now is the time to sell. If you recall, the relative supply of homes is a number that shows us the months of supply of homes for sale, the supply of homes relative to the current rate of demand. A measure of 6.0 is traditionally considered a balanced market, where neither sellers nor buyers have an advantage in the market. When the relative supply drops below 6, the market moves to a seller's market. The opposite is true when the market grows above 6 and the market moves to favor buyers. In this table, the red cells show seller's market conditions, while the orange cells show buyer's market conditions. Overall, the entire market is undersupplied, and all 4 quadrants in Tallahassee are in a seller's market. There remain many different pockets where a buyer's market exists, however. Overall, homes priced under $550,000 are enjoying a seller's market, and you can be sure if you find one that stands out, it will be receiving offers from multiple buyers as soon as it hits the market. That's why you want to hire a real estate agent that will make your home stand out when it comes time to sell. This graph is identical to the home sales activity graph we examined previously, with the exception that this one is limited to homes priced above $600,000. Unlike the lower priced homes in the bottom 90% of the market, the top of the market remains in control of buyers. There are far more high-end homes for sale than there are high-end buyers. The luxury market continues to improve, though, and we are enjoying the best conditions for selling a luxury home in Tallahassee that we have measured over the past 18 years. The yellow line in this graph measures the trend of the relative supply of high-end homes, and it has now dropped to 7.8 months of supply. Yes, there are still too many luxury homes on the market, but conditions are so much better than when we measured the 17-plus months of supply near the end of 2016. If you'd like more in-depth information on the high end of the market, just watch my recent update on the luxury homes market. If you want to know where is Tallahassee moving, then this graph is the key. It shows the percentage of home sales that fall in each of Tallahassee's 4 quadrants shown over the years. It allows us to find trends for where people are moving. Northeast Tallahassee continues to dominate the home sales in Tallahassee, with roughly 1/2 of all homes sold. About 30% of all homes are sold in the Northwest Tallahassee. Combined, the north side of Tallahassee holds 80% of all homes sold this year. The next 5 graphs show the supply and demand for homes in the Tallahassee housing market, arranged by price range. The first one shows the overall market, then the subsequent 4 that follow are organized by each quadrant of Tallahassee. We'll run through them fairly fast. I provide them as a visualization of the supply and demand dynamic for each area of Tallahassee. Feel free to pause the video if you want to study each one further. In the overall market graph, we see that Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $400,000 and a strong seller's market under $550,000. We don't see buyer's market conditions until we get above that $550,000 mark. This next graph shows the supply and demand for homes in Northeast Tallahassee, arranged by price range. Northeast Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $550,000 and a buyer's market above $550,000. The next graph shows the supply and demand for homes in Northwest Tallahassee, arranged by price range. Northwest Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $250,000 and a seller's market under $350,000. We don't see buyer's market conditions in Northwest Tallahassee until we get near the $400,000 mark. This graph shows the supply and demand for homes in Southeast Tallahassee, arranged by price range. Southeast Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $400,000 and a seller's market below $450,000 and above $550,000. We only see buyer's market conditions in Southeast Tallahassee for homes priced between $450,000 and $550,000. This graph shows the supply and demand for homes in Southwest Tallahassee, arranged by price range. Southwest Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $150,000, but we immediately see the market transition to a buyer's market after that. When it comes time to buy or sell a home, you'll want to know just how competitive the market will be. One way to tell is by looking at the percentage of active listings already under contract. A low percentage means that there are not enough buyers for the listings on the market, while a high percentage means the opposite, that there are far more buyers than sellers. In a balanced market, you'll typically find about 25% of the homes for sale already under contract with buyers. The green bars measure the number of listed homes that are already under contract with buyers, while the red bars measure the homes without contracts. Currently, 49% of all listed homes are already under contract, so whether buying or selling, you should know that it is highly competitive out there and you need to be prepared in order to make the best deal possible. The key for buyers is thorough preparation before shopping for a home, while the key for sellers is solid pre-marketing so that the home is anticipated by all prospective buyers the moment it goes live in the MLS. For more on pre-marketing a home correctly, just click on the link at the top of the screen. You should also know that there are relatively few homes priced above $600,000, so this graph ends up with a lot of volatility at the upper end. For example, if 2 or 3 $975,000 homes drop prices just below $950,000, we would see the $950,000 price point move from highly competitive down to below the normal range. It's important at higher price points that you take a larger sweep of the market to ensure you understand how competitive your price point will be in the area that you're looking to buy or sell. I have mentioned that the supply of homes for sale is far too low and the competition for available listings is fierce among buyers. Our next two graphs highlight this point. This graph shows the percentage of homes sold each month. During normal market conditions, about 17% of homes sell each month. But look to the right side of the graph. We're often doubling that amount in recent months. Each month, a red dot is used to show the percentage of inventory that's sold. If there were no seasonality in real estate, we would expect to see about 1/6 of the homes sell each month. That's the 17% I mentioned. As seasonality is real, we expect to see roughly 4 months above 17%, 4 months near 17%, and 4 months below 17% during different times of the year. This graph makes it clear these are not normal times. When the market was coming out of its collapse, we went more than 8 years without a single month falling within the normal range. There were just too many homes on the market, and it was common for fewer than 1 in 10 homes to sell each month. Now, low inventory levels have the opposite results. About 1 in 3 homes listed for sale sold in each of the past 6 months. That means when buyers go looking at homes, there's not much out there, and the best price homes are already under contract with other buyers. This graph shows that more homes for sale in Tallahassee are under contract with buyers than ever before. That means slim pickings for buyers and favorable market conditions for sellers. Nothing is more frustrating as a buyer than finding the perfect home only to discover that somebody else beat you to it. That's why I recommend you keep a close eye on the Coming Soon website, so you'll get an advance warning before some of the best homes hit the market. I've included a link to the site below the video. Nearly 1/2 of all listed homes for sale are already under contract. The green line in the graph above shows that almost 49% of current listings are already under contract, which brings it up to a 44% average over the past 12 months. Hopefully, we'll see more sellers enter the market these next few months and perhaps see a dip in this ratio. But don't be surprised to see it continue higher if too few sellers arrive. The following two tables make it very easy to do a supply and demand analysis for your specific price range and area of town that you live or want to live. Both tables segment the market by quadrant and by price range. The one on the left shows the average number of homes that sell each month, while the one on the right shows the current number of homes for sale. Let's start at the bottom right of each table. There are 1,172 homes for sale right now in the Tallahassee housing market, which is 3.5% fewer than the 1,215 we reported last month. There are 363 selling each month, which is nearly 2% greater than the 357 we reported last month. When we divide sales into active listings, we can see that 31% are selling each month, which is 60% higher than normal. Now, here's an example how you might use this table for yourself. If you're planning to buy a home for $400,000 to $450,000 and you want to live in Northeast Tallahassee, here's what you would do. We can see that in the supply table there are 45 homes for sale, and the demand table shows that roughly 12 of them are selling each month. Using the information from previous graphs, we also anticipate that 1/2 of them are already under contract. So in Northeast Tallahassee, there are 23 homes not under contract, and 12 of them will sell this month. If you find a home that you like, you should know that most likely other buyers have found it too. This is a highly competitive area and price range. The numbers do not lie. These tables continue to report fewer homes for sale and rising demand from a growing pool of buyers. It is strong evidence for buyers that they need to be ready to go when they are serious about buying a home. While you do not necessarily need to be in a hurry to buy a home, you do need to move with urgency when you find a home that you would like to buy. When it's time to make a decision on a home, just remember that the market will have brought you to a specific home that you like because of its relative value, so you can be certain the market will be bringing many other buyers to compete with you. These sellers' market conditions require buyers to make prompt decisions and move aggressively when the right home is found. As stated earlier, there are seasonal changes that influence the housing market. This next graph identifies the percentage of listed homes that sold each month for the 5-year period of 2015 to 2019. Think of this as what should happen during normal times, with normal being defined as the past 5 years. As you can see, we are now well into what would traditionally be the slower 6 months of the year, for September through February. Take a look at October and you can see that it's supposed to be a significantly slower month than what we would find during the spring. But the 395 homes sold in October was more than in any of the months of March, April, or May. So what this means is that the time of year is really not significant if you want to sell your home. Right now, buyer demand is high, inventory is low, and we're going to be blowing up historical seasonal numbers. Right now, there is both pent-up demand from buyers who have yet been able to secure a home in this uber competitive market, as well as pent-up supply from sellers who are waiting for the pandemic to pass. Many of these hesitant sellers have seen their friends and family members move safely to a new home and take advantage of the historically low mortgage interest rates. I hope to see new inventory come in during these next few months at a higher rate than what we would normally see. The mortgage graph shows nearly 50 years of monthly mortgage interest rates. We've seen them as high as 18.45% and as low as 2.83%, the current rate. That's right, today's rates are the lowest ever recorded. Over the past 50 years, the average rate has come down to 7.91%, a full 5% higher than today's rate of 2.83%, or just 2.3% for a 15-year amortization. We saw a new record low mortgage interest rate recorded in August, then again in September, and yet again in October. Here's what it means to home buyers today. It's probably more significant than you might imagine. After all, what's a few percentage points, right? The table shown here allows us to do two separate studies of the impact of low mortgage interest rates. First, we show the monthly savings a buyer is getting today versus rates we've seen in the recent past, while the second shows how buying power will fall when mortgage interest rates begin to return to normal. The table on the left was built to show a $300,000 loan and the impact of changing mortgage interest rates on that borrower's monthly payment. If rates were to move up 1 full percent to a still very low rate of 3.83%, that buyer's payment would go up 13%. When rates return to the 50-year average, that buyer's payment would be about 75% higher each month. That's not small to most people that I know. What monthly payment do you have that you wouldn't care about a 75% increase? That's why these rates are so outrageously good today. I think a better way to understand changing interest rates, though, can be found in the table on the right. My experience selling homes in Tallahassee for the past 30 years has taught me that most buyers purchase as much home as they can get based on what they can borrow. So instead of seeing monthly mortgage payments rise, we'll see the borrower's loan amount drop to keep the payment the same. So a buyer who can borrow $300,000 today will only be able to borrow $265,000 when interest rates rise 1%. If the buyer waits until rates return to the 50-year average, then the buyer will be able to borrow just $170,000. That means the buyer who waits until normal rates return will see his buying power reduced 43%. This buying power, strengthened by today's low mortgage interest rates, is the primary reason demand has remained so strong during the pandemic. Had there been no COVID-19, we wouldn't have seen rates drop so low. These temporary low rates are part of a government stimulus to help restore the economy. The stimulus only helps if you use it. If you do not want to move, you should still talk to a lender about refinancing any homes that you own. Conversations are free, and the resulting refinancing that many will enjoy will end up saving a lot of money on each loan repayment. If you've been holding off selling, then it likely means that you've been holding off buying too. If you're strong enough to pay cash, then maybe this is not that big of a deal. But if you plan to finance your next home, you should strongly consider getting your home sold and getting into the next one with today's cheap money. I hope our November 2020 Housing Market Report has given you insight into today's conditions. Do you have any questions you'd like answered in this or other housing market reports? If so, you can leave a comment below or give us a call anytime. If you would like more information about current housing market conditions, you'll find a playlist of our most recent housing market reports in the box at the top left of your screen. If you would like answers to common frequently asked questions from viewers just like you, look at the playlist of answers in the box below it. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel.